All right, peace everybody. What's good? This is our boy George Malachi Williams, representing for New Media Today USA. And in this particular episode, we're going to talk about this new video that I just ran across. Today is December 30th, 2020. We have another year, not another year, but another day. One more day in the new year after the night, and it's a wrap. It's going to 2020 is in the history books. But right now, we on Shawn Porter's The Porter Way podcast, and one of his guests, one of his co-hosts, asked him a question about, the Terence Crawford fight. As you can see up top, where it says, what would it take for Shawn Porter to fight Terence Crawford? And a lot of stuff that's going on in many different forums like Boxing Eagle, Blue Blood Sports TV, Fanon, Fanon, what's my guy's name? The Boxing Voice, and what's my other guy's name? The one who says Black Two Sugars. I forgot the brother's name. I forgot the guy's name, man. He's real funny though, you know. And but anyways, I'm gonna as a matter of fact, while I'm on here, let me find this guy. Two Sugars. I don't know how I forgot this. It's a boxing channel, but you know what I'm talking about. But several different boxing forums pretty much had, it's talking about this particular fight, with Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford. Me personally, I think Terence Crawford should take this fight. Now, Bob Arum is offering Shawn Porter $1 million. It's ridiculous. He's clearly lowballing the man. Shawn Porter is worth more money than that. He should get paid more. How much more, I don't know. But $1 million is ridiculous. Shawn Porter has fought Kell Brook. He lost to Kell Brook. He's fought Keith Thurman. He lost to Keith Thurman. He's fought Errol Spence. He lost to Errol Spence. He did beat Danny Garcia for the vacant WBC belt. So he did do that. And he fought Ugas. I think that he lost to Ugas, but the judges did give him the win. And he got knocked down. But in my opinion, I think that he lost that fight. And the knockdown wasn't scored a knockdown. So basically, he's addressing the elephant in the room. Let's see exactly what he has to say in this particular podcast. I'm gonna let you hear the audio on the phone to keep from getting in trouble with YouTube for copyright infringement.
Let's get the elephant in the room addressed. So the number one question in multiple forms and varieties and everything is you and Terence Crawford. People want to know why you haven't initiated the mandatory status, what's going on. The rumor is $1 million. Would you take $1 million? So I think just an update on that situation from you might be helpful.
Not taking $1 million.
Okay, so he says he's not taking $1 million. Understandably so. And $1 million is too low for Terence. For Shawn Porter. It's crazy. Oh, the boxing channel that I was thinking about is called Showbiz the Adult. So Showbiz the Adult. I apologize for forgetting about you. I got to write all this stuff down. You have one of my favorite YouTube channels. You are very unbiased in your analysis. Fanon is pretty much unbiased also, and Blue try to be as fair as possible also. So shout out to those guys. Aki definitely is a good YouTube channel to follow as it relates to boxing. Now, $1 million is too low. Bob Arum is tripping in my opinion. You don't offer no one like Shawn Porter $1 million. He says he'll lose money on that fight. So if it go to purse bid, Al Heyman have to be the one to pick up the tab, and that fight will be able to happen. Personally, from a matchup standpoint, it's a great matchup for both fighters. Shawn Porter fights the exact same way. He's not going to bring anything different ever in a fight. He's going to come head first. He's going to come in like a running back, head down. He has no defense. He's going to get hit with check hooks all night long. Check hooks, straight rights, check hooks from the left or the right. Doesn't matter. Once Bud makes the adjustments, I know that Shawn Porter thinks he's going to be able to muscle and bully his way in there and force the tempo and force Terence Crawford to fight his way. But my whole thing is when any fighter that has good footwork, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? If you have good footwork against Shawn Porter, and a lot of times Shawn Porter has better footwork than most fighters he fights. But anytime he fought an elite fighter, he got his ass handed to him. You see what I'm saying? Now, he fought Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia is a flat-footed Puerto Rican fighter. He's flat-footed and he's slow. So his style was tailor-made for someone like Shawn Porter. But someone who's athletic, has the athleticism just as good as his, he's going to have problems with him. And even Errol Spence beat him at his own game, knocked him down and dominated him in the 12th round. But that's neither here nor there. We want to talk about the actual money aspect of it. Shawn Porter, I agree with him. He's right about this. He deserved more than $1 million. Bob Arum is tripping. This fight will go to a purse bid, and the purse bid, he would get paid more money. And, from a stylistic standpoint, from a fan base standpoint, someone like me that's a fan of the sport of boxing, I would love to see this welterweight fight. This fight would be phenomenal because I think Shawn Porter will bring the best out of Terence Crawford. He would really show the world how great of a fighter that he really is. Shawn Porter at this point, I don't see him beating Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? But it will be an interesting fight. I see Terence Crawford winning maybe 8-4. I also see Terence Crawford scoring several knockdowns in this fight. Because again, Shawn Porter has no defense. He will get hit with everything in the kitchen sink. And he does throw a lot of punches, but he doesn't always land. He's not always accurate. I looked at the Errol Spence fight, and he did a lot of missing in that fight. He did take the fight to Errol Spence, and he was able to spin out of corners and stuff against Errol Spence, but he missed a lot. You see what I'm saying? And if you look at I think the 11th round, when Shawn Porter got knocked down, when he got dropped by Errol Spence, he got caught swinging a wide, wild punch. This is how he fights. He just was swinging wide and wild, and Errol Spence caught him. He timed him perfectly. Bam, hit him with a clean shot, knocked him down, and that was pretty much it. Now, Shawn Porter wasn't hurt to the point to where he couldn't get up. He got up and he finished the round, and in the 12th round, he got dominated. But he get caught with good, clean shots all the time. So if you are an elite fighter, this is what's going to happen. So now we want to address the situation about the enforcing the mandatory clause, right? Because he is the mandatory for the WBO title. So, a lot of different boxing channels is saying that all Shawn Porter has to do is this, activate the mandatory, and he will be able to get this fight. Now, Shawn Porter says something totally different. So I'm inclined to hear what Shawn Porter says versus listening to another YouTuber that's on the outside looking in. Shawn Porter know a little bit more about his business than a Boxing Ego does, or Fanon does, or Blue Blood Sports TV, or even someone like me, or Showbiz the Adult. We don't know. So let's see what Shawn Porter has to say about activating the mandatory.
Fair enough. I did the best I could to send a message to.
He's going to get to it right after this part right here.
Who know Bob, and I told them, tell Mr. Arum.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't mean any disrespect, and I know that he doesn't.
He's addressing the $1 million.
If you feel like that's the way you get out of fighting me, that's weak. Don't do it. However,
and I agree with that. If you're offering $1 million, that is kind of weak.
I'm worth more than $1 million.
He is worth more than $1 million. That's true.
I'm going to keep it as clean as possible, but
that's right.
I'm not fighting Terence Crawford for $1 million.
No, you shouldn't fight for $1 million.
Fight of the year, or definitely a candidate for fight of the year.
And I agree, this is going to be a candidate for the fight of the year, if not the fight of the year, depending on how it goes down.
I spoke to my dad just on Wednesday, and I said, "Hey, have you talked to AH?" And he says,
is Al Heyman.
Well, we haven't talked in a little bit. I says, have you thought about anything as far as the mandatories are concerned? Do you know about activating these clauses that I've been seeing in the news? And he says, no, I don't know about that. Let me give him a call. So that was Wednesday. On Wednesday, I expressed to him my interest in only fighting one of 3 people next year, if not 2.
Okay, he only wants to fight 1 or 3 people.
Those 3
it says Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford,
and
Errol Spence
Jr. And Keith Thurman for fun, maybe.
Okay, so he addressed the fact about the mandatory. Like, he doesn't know anything about it, so how to enforce it or whatever the case may be. So he asked his dad, which is his trainer, as well as his manager, to talk to AH, which is Al Heyman, about maybe activating that, or what does he know about it, so we can get this fight going on and get paid the money that he really want to get paid. Pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. I don't know anything about how mandatories work. I hear that if you enforce a mandatory and it goes to a purse bid, if it goes to a purse bid, the champ or the main guy would get 75%, and the other guy that's not the champ would get 25%. Of what split the money, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be 75% of $10 million, and the other guy gets 25% of that. I don't know, but we'll find out. So other than that, that's it. So we just have to sit back and wait and see exactly what happens. Wait till what Kenny Porter says, and I'm pretty sure once Kenny Porter finds out, he's going to relay it to Shawn, and Shawn is going to in the next interview or so, or a week or 2 or whatever, however long that may be, whenever he finds that information out from Al Heyman, that he will share that with the fans, and we will have some content and something to talk about. But other than that, that's it. I just want to say that I do agree with Shawn Porter. He does deserve more than $1 million. You know, Bob Arum is tripping as it relates to that. I don't think Terence Crawford is afraid of Shawn Porter. I think Terence Crawford just beyond the point. He doesn't want to fight any more gatekeepers. He wants to fight who he wants to fight, and he's being very stubborn at that. I'm not saying he doesn't understand because I'm never the one to tell a man how not to handle his business. I just think that Terence Crawford's team, from a business standpoint, they're not really that good as it relates to business. You have to drop your ego, your pride, and understand that you are on the outside looking in as it relates to getting these big fights because someone like, Errol Spence has a lot more options than Terence Crawford. So I think that, Errol Spence did offer, from what I'm hearing, he offered 60-40 to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford felt like that's an insult. Personally, I don't think it's an insult. I think that Terence Crawford, from a boxing career standpoint, he does have a better boxing career than Errol Spence. I agree with that 1,000%. But from a welterweight standpoint, Errol Spence has a better welterweight record than Terence Crawford. So just based on that alone, and he's doing better numbers. So based on that alone, you can't separate the business from the facts. The business aspect of it is Errol Spence is doing better numbers because he's matching himself up with good fighters who can bring crowds. It's not like Errol Spence is bringing a crowd by himself. He's not. Mikey Garcia has his own fan base. So he was smart to fight Mikey Garcia. Danny Garcia has his own fan base. So that made sense. Shawn Porter, that kid turned out to be a hell of a fight. So they did good numbers as well. So, so other than that, if you look at, Errol Spence's numbers, he's doing very well. And if you look at Terence Crawford's numbers, they're dismal. You see what I'm saying? And that's because of his promoter. But facts is facts. From a number standpoint, Terence Crawford should consider, not being so stubborn as it relates to that. But as it relates to Shawn Porter should get paid more than $1 million. I agree with him totally. Let's just sit back and wait and see what happens with the enforcing the mandatory clause and see how that works out. Other than that, this is George Malachi Williams, representing for New Media Today USA. We signing out, and y'all stay tuned. We're going to try to stay on top of this particular subject to see exactly what's going to go on with Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter, because for the fans, it's going to be a great fight. Me personally, I want to see this fight, even though I do believe that Terence Crawford was going to beat the brakes off of Shawn Porter. I do believe that, but outside of that, it's going to be a great fight. I don't think Terence Crawford's going to stop him because we heard what the guy named on Terence Crawford's camp. I forgot his name. Something the boxer, Bernie the boxer, saying that we're going to stop Shawn Porter. But you know what? I mean, in the sport of boxing, anything can happen. Shawn Porter does come in head first. He has no defense. He can't duck punches because he comes in with a reckless style, and you can't fight a Terence Crawford or any of these elite fighters like that. He tried that with Kell Brook. Kell Brook, dominated you with that style. It didn't work. Shawn Porter, not Shawn Porter, but Errol Spence fought you your style, and he beat you your style. He beat you in the exact same style that you brought to him, and not only did he beat you, he knocked you down, and he won the 11th and 12th round. So he dominated you the 12th round as well. So, and Keith Thurman pretty much outboxed you because he had hell of a footwork. And then Ugas pretty much walked you down. And I think that Ugas did beat you, but, the judges didn't see it that way. Even the knockdown they said it was a slip, and it wasn't. That's just like when Terence Crawford got knocked down by Mean Machine. Terence Crawford said he slipped, and the judge, not the judge, but the referee said it was a slip. It wasn't a slip. Terence Crawford, you got knocked down by Mean Machine. Now, you did end up destroying him, later on in the fight, but you got knocked down. Shawn Porter, you got knocked down against Ugas. I don't care what you say. You got knocked down. You know what I mean? So, but that's neither here nor there. Other than that, the Porter way, I like Shawn Porter. He's a very nice fighter. He's a very nice person. I don't like his fighting style, and I think that he will get the brakes beat off him when he fights Terence Crawford. But we need to see that fight because we know Shawn Porter's fights is going to be action-packed. He's going to bring the action, and he's not going to do anything but bring the best out of Terence Crawford. That's why we need to see this fight for 2021 for the fans. Other than that, this is our boy George Malachi Williams signing out for New Media Today USA. Please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like this video, share this video. And big shout out to New Media. Big shout out to the LDBC. Big shout out to Kurt DeVille Boxing. Big shout out to Showbiz the Adult. Big shout out to Boxing Ego, Dante's Boxing Nation, Aki TV, and Fanon, and Blue Blood Sports TV. Other than that, peace out.